Hi everyone, my name's Alisa Tilsner and I'm a demonstrator for Stampin Up in Australia. Today I'm going to be playing with the Back on Your Feet stamp set as part of our Stamping Society blog hop. Our theme this month was to ink up something that we haven't inked up before, and this was one of them, despite me absolutely loving this stamp because of the sloth and the turtle. And I haven't used it yet, so this one's from the annual catalogue. So I've pulled this one out to use, and I'm glad I did because they are super cute to colour. So this is the card that I'm going to be showing you in our blog hop today, which is super cute, and I really love how it turned out. It's really, really pretty. Oh, and I've just realised I've forgotten a glass of water, so I will have to stop when I get to that bit and race and go and grab some. Okay, so the first thing that I have done was stamp on Whisper White with Memento ink. This is a water-based ink and our blends are alcohol, so we want the two to be opposites in this case. Okay, so I've stamped him already. I'm just going to zoom in so you can see my colouring. Well, I need to position about there, which is quite far away from me. Okay, so for my turtle, I will be using soft suede, old olive, granny apple green, and a little bit of pineapple punch, okay, which is a little bit different, but it works. So let's start off with our soft suede, and we'll be using the dark. So we're just going to do the little tiles on his shell. And you can see that Stampin' Up! Have already drawn in some shadow lines, so we are just going to follow those shadow lines, which makes it really, really easy to colour in. A little bit over here, and then I'm just going to add around that little bit of his shell. I just sort of make up my own sort of thing while I'm going along this one. Okay, so very easy. Then come in with a light soft suede and just fill them in. Okay, and you can see that I've left a little bit of white on my tiles, and then I'm just going to come in with my colour lifter and just go over the top, and they will sort of soften down and look hopefully like a little bit of shine marks. Okay, the next part that we want to do is his belly, and I'm going to use Old Olive for that one. So I'll just make sure I've got my correct blends. Okay, and again, Stampin' Up! Have already done a few little dots, so I'm just going to place my Old Olive dark along those little dots that they've done. And then coming in with a light, just going over the top. Leave a little bit of white space as well. And then again with the colour lifter, I'm just going to come in, whoops, wrong end. Just going to come in and go over the top of that little area. Okay, now the fun part comes, and this is going to look really strange to start with, okay? So I'm going to do the dark granny apple green first, and again just following those lines around the outside. It looks super, super bright, and you just think, whoa, that can't be right. and then the light granny apple green. And then finally, the shock part, which is the pineapple punch. Okay, now I do recommend going over the entire area because this is a yellow, not a green. And when I first put it down, I thought, oh no, I've made a mistake. But it does seem to tie in pretty well. Just going to go over a little bit of his eye there. So you can see it's quite different, very different. Okay, now I did forget to do a little bit more of his shell, so I'm just going to come back with my old olives and I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of, not a huge amount of colour to his shell, but just a little bit around these edges. Oops, I got the wrong end. And I'm just going to use the colour lifter just to drag that down a little bit. Okay, so he is done and I am going to now cut him out. So I will, oh, I just stabbed myself, ow. I will speed that up. Okay, there we have him, all cut out. So now what we're going to do is I have one of the largest circle stitched frames and I'm just going to flip this over because we're going to do a little bit of ink blending, and I'm going to be using Pool Party. I need to get my inks out. Pool Party and of course Granny Apple Green to tie everything together. Now I'm going to start with the Pool Party this time because I think my brush is pretty clean. When I did it yesterday it still had a fair bit of green in it, so I'm going to try and do the blue one first. So just go on across the top, probably just over halfway, so maybe 2/3. Okay, and then I'm going to put the Granny Apple Green on the bottom, but I'm going to leave a little bit of a white space between the two of them. I don't want them to be joined together. Just like that. Easy. Just try and get a little bit darker on the bottom. I like a fairly intense colour blend. There we go. Now this is where I have to stop and go and get some water, so I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I am back with my glass of water and I've got just a round paintbrush here. So I'm just going to pop that in, wipe off the excess, like those big heavy drips, and then do a little bit of splatter. Not too much, and then just allow that to dry. That's all I need for the water. Put my cap back on. And then because I want to use Memento again on this, and it's water-based and I've just put water on this, I'm going to need to make sure that this is dry. So if you just give me a few moments. because if you don't make sure that that is completely dry, your stamp will bleed. We're going to stamp on top of that, and it will bleed if you don't make sure that's completely dry. So now we're going to bring in our turtle again, and we're going to stamp him on here. Like so. Could have been a little bit higher up, but that's okay. Happy with that, and I'm not too fussed that the image hasn't come out completely, because we are actually going to stick him on top of that anyway. So a couple of other things that I have got is a piece of Granny Apple Green, which I have embossed with the brick and mortar embossing folder. Sorry, I need to bring this back. So what I'm going to do is, just to enhance it a little bit, is just to grab my bit more Granny Apple Green and then just lightly go over the top with my brush. I went back to Kmart yesterday to try and get some more of these brushes, and they don't have them anymore. I'm going to have to find some online. I was like, what? All they've got is those latex blending brushes now. So it just lifts up those little bricks that are raised. It just gives them a little bit of extra detail in them. So we are ready to assemble our card now. So I'm using a base of Pool Party. Just give that a little bit of an extra flattening. Okay, and then I have got a layer of soft suede. Looking for this. It's usually right in front of you and you can never find it. So just using a layer of soft suede just to tie all my colours in together, and then I can pop down my layer of Granny Apple Green. Okay, then my circle. Make sure everything's nice and straight. Okay, and then I can put my turtle. And I might stick one on his head too. And down comes our rain. So I'm just going to stick him straight over the top, and you'll notice that I did cut off his little eyebrows there as well, but you can sort of see them on the bottom stamped image. I think he's straight. Okay, and then next I have stamped off Hope Things Get Better Soon, and I've done this in soft suede onto Whisper White, and I'm just going to tuck that under there. So I will need to trim that because that is way too long. A little bit more. That's a bit better. So I'm going to pop a dimensional on the flagged end and just a little bit of normal adhesive on that end. Try and make it straight. With all these crooked layers, I really struggle to get my sentiments straight. I'll try and use that line there. It's always tricky. Okay, and then you can add some bling. In my first card I added some sequins. I might see if I can just pop on some rhinestones for this one, just because it's a little bit quicker. I can find the opening. So there we go, all done. I think he's a cute little fun, happy card. Hopefully brighten somebody's day if they're feeling a little bit miserable at the moment or a little bit unwell. So there's my 2 cards. And thank you very much for watching. If you feel the urge that you would like to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I am coming on next, that would be greatly appreciated. And all the supplies that you have seen me using in the cards today, you can purchase them via my online store, or you can just email me and I can help you out with purchasing them. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.